integrity, solidarity, well-being and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives of state policy contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will abide by the Code of Conduct contained in the 5th schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
Honorable colleagues, Honorable Lawal Idrisu presents an interesting case for our legal scholars out there. This is the second time he's been sworn in the last 5 months. So the question is whether his term begins from, 4-year term begins from today or from the first swearing in. It's a very interesting case. I think we should explore it. Honorable colleagues, we have with us in the gallery today students from the Golden Gilead Academy. Please rise up for recognition. Also with us, we have students from the KESE, I think it is, Educational Services Limited. I'm not sure if I got that pronunciation right. Well, please forgive me if I didn't, but they're here. Can you stand up for recognition? Thank you. And also with us, students of Al Amin Model International Academy. Are you here? Thank you. Honorable colleagues, please let's acknowledge our visitors. We have here also students from the Abuja International Academy, Masaka. Please stand up for recognition. Okay, Gaza, they're from your constituency. Okay, stand up and greet them again. Very good. Any petition? Go ahead, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Ferdinand Dozie-Nwankwo, and I represent the good people of Njiko Kanocha, Unuko Federal Constituency, and I'm from Anambra State. I have a petition from my constituent, Mr. Sunday Cornelius Otugo, for the gruesome murder of his brother Ikenna Innocent Otugo by South African citizens. As the house of the people and believer of the people, he asks us to intervene to see how we can facilitate the investigation to find what really caused the death of his brother and to seek justice for his brother. Mr. Speaker, may I seek the permission to lay the petition?
Yeah, go ahead, you may lay your petition. Osby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Gono Ziribo. I represent the good people of Unkwere. and Jaba Federal constituency of Imo State. Mr. Speaker, with me is a petition from my constituent through Sky Ben Law Office on unjustifiable dismissal from Nigerian Police Force for Corporal Ansel Mwachukwu with Police Force number 164574. Mr. Speaker, this petition is signed by Barrister B.A.N. Ebuchalam, and I seek your leave to lay this petition before this Honorable House.
You may lay your petition. Any other petition? Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Lady Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from one of my constituents by name Stephen Chooks Elums, who was working in our mission in Lampore, Malaysia, who claimed to have been unjustly sacked by the commission, and is asking this House to come to his aid for us to hear him and see the possibility of him being reinstated. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, can I please lay the petition?
You may lay your petition. Any other petition? Honorable, read your petition, please.
My honorable colleagues, my name remains Right Honorable Ekwenyam, representing the good people of Ora, Urumukambo, Okabadu Reform Federal Constituency in Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, this petition is from Ora Youth Movement. It is a civil rights organization whose primary aim is to champion and protect the survival of other ethnic nationality in Akwa Ibom and Nigeria, situation at large. Mr. Speaker, this petition is complaining of fraudulent activities against the PHED regarding the electricity supply in the federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, without going much to the content of this petition, I therefore seek your kind permission that this petition be laid on the table for further consideration.
So yes, you may lay your petition. Any other petition? Okay. Before we take the motions for urgent public importance, I want to announce, I need to announce about this the issue of motions for urgent public importance. Honorable colleagues, moving forward, there will be no more motions on urgent public importance that have anything to do with infrastructure. All motions relating to infrastructure will be put on the order paper on notice. If they are that important, we'll try and list them for the following week. Infrastructural motions do not typically fit the definition on our rules of urgent public importance, and it takes away valuable time. So all motions on infrastructure should be motions on notice moving forward. The business and rules, please take note. Honorable Chris Azubuga.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker, my respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Chris Emeka Azubuga. I represent Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and the Ekusigo Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. I come under Order 8 Rule 4, Urgent of Public Importance. The matter is about urgent need to investigate violence and killings in my constituency and to avert the breakdown of law and order. Because the violence involved clashes with law enforcement agencies that led to the death of an Assistant Commissioner of Police, an ASP, and a host of other people. And a lot of things have been going on. And I come to seek the leave of the House that this matter is urgent. I will take it here and now. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
My name is Toby Okechukwu. I represent Aneri of Wojiriba Federal Constituency from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion that moved by our colleague Chris Azubog.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Second leg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. I stand under the order Rule 8, Rule 7, Rule 8, Sub-Rule 7, that we set aside our rules and take this matter. They are here now.
Okay. Honorable Chris is applying that we suspend the rules of the House to allow us to take this motion that is important enough to take it now. Honorable Francis Charles, you want to second that?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Francis Charles Duyok. I represent the Court of Assembly Plenary in the state of Ilorin from Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that rules be suspended so that the matter be taken now. I so second.
Those in support that the matter is urgent enough to suspend our rules to take now, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Chris, move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, I remain Honorable Chris Emeka Azubog, representing Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and Ekusigo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on urgent need to investigate violence and killings in my constituency and to avert further breakdown of law and order. The House knows that on Monday, the second day of December 2019, there was a clash between the police and some group of persons in Umunakwa, Ifite, in Orif, the Ekusigo local government area of Anambra State. The House further notes that the aftermath of the conflict was the alleged killing of so many persons, including police personnel, destruction of public properties and public and private properties. The House is aware that this action has caused serious unrest and bitterness amongst the people in the area with the law enforcement agency. The House is worried that if the situation is not properly handled, it could lead to further unnecessary loss of lives, valuable properties, and breakdown of law and order. The House, I pray that the House urge the Department of State Security and other relevant agencies to conduct a thorough investigation on the incident with a view to unmasking the root cause of the violence and forestall further escalation of the same. 2, to urge the Committee on National Security and Intelligence to ensure compliance and report back to the House within 3 weeks. I so move.
Any seconder to the motion? Honorable Lumelu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this motion, ably moved by Honorable Chris Azubog. I so second.
Honorable Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, I am Honorable Chris Emeka Azubog. I represent the good people of Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and Ekusigo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to tell my dear colleagues that the very unfortunate incident that was reported to me from my constituency late Monday evening and Tuesday, and unfortunately when we came in, we lost our dear colleague and we couldn't sit, have resulted to the issue of people, so many people claim to have been killed, including high-ranking police officers, an assistant commissioner of police, who is an area commander, and an assistant inspector of police, ASP. And these are the things that, a group of people, so many things happening. You receive calls here, and nobody can tell us exactly what happened. That's why for the first time I'm asking for proper investigation and to ask authorities in place to put measures to ensure that there's no escalation that will lead to further loss of lives and properties. And also that such a thing, if we can get to the root cause of it and deal with it decisively, because it is unfortunate that even law enforcement agents were killed, individuals were killed, And the people were burnt, houses, everything, as if we were in a state of war. So, my dear colleagues, that was why I brought this motion, and I seek the support of everyone that this motion be considered and approved, so that the situation in my constituency will be put to rest. Because I know our people are peace loving, not even to consider killing a law enforcement agent. For whoever that has caused that, we need to know, get to the root cause of it, and deal with it properly. That's my reason. I so move, sir.
Those in favor and support of Honorable Azubugo's motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Gagdi.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my name is Yusuf Gagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 8 Rule 4 to move a matter of urgent public importance regarding to the need for an urgent investigation into a non-remittance of contribution by employees, delay or non-payment of entitlement of pensioners by the Pension Fund Administration and non-adherence to the provision of Pension Reform Act of 2014 by relevant authority, which is affecting our various constituents that are retiring from public civil service. May I use this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to equally join together the second leg of the motion, if you may so wish, that relevant section of our rules be suspended to allow me move this matter of urgent public importance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Gagdi has moved with two legs of his motion. One, that it's urgent enough to take now, is the issue of pensions. And second, that we suspend our rules to take it now. So I'll have somebody second both motions at the same time, just like he moved. Honorable Koko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Sheo Koko. I represent Koko, Bese, and Mayama Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Kebbi State. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to second the motion as heavily moved by my good friend, Honorable Yusuf, and to equally second the second leg of the motion moved by my friend. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Those in support that the motion is urgent enough and that we suspend our rules to take the motion now, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Gagdi, move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Yusuf Adamu Gagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, my motion is on the need for urgent investigation into non-remittance of contribution by employers, delay or non-payment of entitlements to pensioners by the Pension Fund Administrators, and non-adherence to the provision of Pension Reform Act 2014 by relevant authorities. Mr. Speaker, the House should note that according to Section 11, subsection 3 of the Pension Reform Act of 2014, an employer shall deduct at source the monthly contribution of employees, and not later than 7 working days from the day the employee is paid his salaries, remit an amount comprising the employee's contribution and employer's contribution to the retirement saving accounts of the employee. Further note, Mr. Speaker, that according to Section 11, sub 6 of the Pension Reform Act 2014, an employer who failed to remit the contributions within 7 days of the payment of salaries shall, in addition to making the remittance already due, be liable to pay a sum of 250,000 or liable to 1 year imprisonment. Aware that the number of retirees under contributory pension scheme as at 30th September 2019 are 298,614,000, while the pension industry membership had grown to 8.85 million people. The last accrued right, Mr. Speaker, payment for retirees under the contributory pension scheme of the federal government was in December 2018. implying that all federal government workers who retired since then have not received any payment from the retirement saving account. Further aware, Mr. Speaker, that thousands of Nigerians are duly retiring from public service without having their full monthly contributory pension paid into their retirement savings, thereby eroding public confidence in the scheme and increasing agitation for exemption of critical sectors of pension industry. Worried that several thousands of retirees, especially primary school teachers in many schools of the Federation who retired from 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018 have not been able to access their contributions in their retirement saving accounts due to one unknown reason or the other. Further worried, Mr. Speaker, that the federal government, who is a major employer, has failed to remit its own part of 30% pension redemption fund for the past 1 year, leading to backlog of arrears of accrued rights of pensioners running into billions of naira. Further worried again, Mr. Speaker, that thousands of enrollees in the contributory pension scheme have issued sound surrounding the operations of their retirement saving accounts, including cases of inability to match different accounts, receiving irregular updates on the state of their accounts, and do not have input in the investment decision made on their behalf by the pension fund administrators and their similar challenges and other similar challenges. Bothered, Mr. Speaker, that some state government, federal ministries, departments and agencies of government have consistently failed to remit the monthly contributory pension into the retirement saving accounts of employees as required by Pension Reform Act of 2014. Further bothered, Mr. Speaker, that quality of life and indeed life expectancy of those senior citizens who have served our nation graciously may be compromised, as most of them are dependent on their retirement saving account for their feeding and medical expenses after retirement. Concerned, Mr. Speaker, that the spirit of Pension Reform Act is primarily to ensure that individuals who have spent their life, who have spent their active years working will get a decent benefit at retirement and be served with the harrowing experience of defunct defined benefit scheme. Further concerned, Mr. Speaker, that cases of workers who retired under contributory pension scheme and could not access their retirement benefit abound as a result. A growing number of retiring Nigerians are losing confidence in the contributory pension scheme, a situation which needs to be addressed urgently. The House do resolve, Mr. Speaker, to 1. Mandate the House Committee on Pension to investigate the non-remittance of contributions by employee, delay or non-payment of entitlement by pension fund administrators, and the general non-adherence to the provision of Pension Reform Act 2014 by relevant authorities, and report back to the House within 6 weeks for further action. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Ranayo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Anayo Edwin. I represent the good people of Ezra North, Isheri Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, from Ebonyi State. I rise to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleagues. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Sorry, there was no need for any debate. It's a very straightforward. The issue of pensions is something that was concerned all of us. Thank you for bringing that motion, Honorable Gagdi. We have passed amendment. Honorable Dow, quickly. Take one more with the leave of the House. Honorable Dow. Magaji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Magaji Dawaliu, member of the Brunei Bojipe constituency, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. I raise under Order 804 to raise a motion under public urgent importance. This is a matter of life and death, and also to seek your leave to suspend our relevant rules so that we'll take the motion today. The matter is recent attack and killing and beheading of 3 indigents of my constituency in Taraba State. I so move.
Honorable Bagos, can you second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Dachung Musa Bagos, representing Jos South, Jos East Federal Constituency from the great peaceful state of Plateau. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support that we suspend our rules to allow us to take a third motion of urgent public importance, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues. I remain Magajida Liu, member representing Brunkutu Boji Federal Constituency of Jigawa State. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Mr. Speaker, I want the House to note that the primary function or duty of any government is to secure the life and property of its citizens. And also, note that there has been instant killings of innocent citizens by insurgents in many parts of this country. Recently, 3 indigents of my constituency were killed or murdered in cold blood in Jalingo, Taraba State, maimed, brutalized, beheaded by unknown people who the police is yet to find the killers. Further note that this recent attack took place on 23rd November 2019 in Gadinyalwa in Jalingo local government area, which left many people homeless, property looted, while some of the survivors have various amount of injuries and are receiving treatments now in hospital. Be informed that this is not the first time that indigents of my state have been killed or brutalized or murdered in Taraba State, most of whom are petty traders and farmers while going out of their normal day-to-day activities. Concerned that if the occurrence of the killing in Taraba State is not checked, Jigawa State indigents will be forced to take laws into their hands and start defending themselves within whatever they find themselves. I want the House to resolve to urge the Inspector General of Police to send more policemen to Taraba State for total breakdown of law and order in that state. Number 2, to mandate the Committee on Police Affairs and National Security and Intelligence to investigate the killing and report back to the House within 4 weeks. And also to call for 1 minute prayers for the deceased. I so move.
Dr. Achibong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Dr. Henry Okonokobo. I represent the people of Itu, Ibiono Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that is ably moved by my neighbor and colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dow, can you just give us 45 seconds of synopsis? It's self-explanatory, but just...
Mr. Speaker, it's quite sad and disturbing that people who goes for their livelihood, be law-abiding, that people will go and meet them in their farms, just they said because they're from that state, and they are being killed and beheaded and went away with the heads. Our people has tried to report to the government in Taraba State and also the police. Mr. Speaker, nothing has been done up to now. We have been left in faint. We had to go and retrieve the corpse without their heads. That's why we had to bring this matter to this hollow chamber so that justice can be done. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, we're going to go into the main business of the day, which will be the passage of the bill. But before that, I have a letter from Honorable Robert Yo, and I'll read it very quickly. Introducing Nigeria 100 Years Historic Bonding and Legends Compendium. I write to introduce to the Honorable Speaker and by extension all honorable members of the Ninth Assembly an encompassing informative compendium on the history of Nigeria from 1914 to 2018. This work is titled Our History, Our Heritage, Nigeria 100 Years Historic Bonding and Legends Compendium. This work was put together by Bellmark Consulting Services in conjunction with the National Orientation Agency on a private-public partnership basis. This compendium puts together our country's history from 1914 to 2018, in all facets covering politics, religion, economy, industrial, cultural, entertainment, educational, and military history in the 100 years period. This makes it a very valuable resource material to honorable members and any other public or private persons needing information on Nigeria. Honorable colleagues, you can pick it. This is it. It's a very, very heavy, well-researched piece of work. You can pick it up from the House Services. It is at a hefty but good price, which I'm not at liberty to announce here, but pick it up from the House Services Committee. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, we're going to jump straight to the consideration of reports, the 14th order. The 14th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Appropriations on a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 10,594,362,364,830 naira only, of which 560,470,827,235 naira only is for statutory transfers. 2,725,498,930,000 naira only is for debt service. 4,840,2,970,4,600,640 naira only is for recurrent, non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 5,418,006,000 naira 955 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2020. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Wednesday, 4th December 2019. I now call on Honorable Mukhtar Betara, the Chairman Appropriations, to move for its consideration.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Mukhtar Betara Aliu, member representing Biu Bayo Kusarshani. I'm from Borno State. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I wish to request this House to consider the report on appropriation on 2020 appropriation bill. I so move, sir.
Honorable Idu Igariwe, can you please second?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Igariwe Iduma Enwo. I represent Afikpo North, Afikpo South Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, after due consultation with our colleagues at the Senate, it is my intention to make two very harmless amendments to the bill. Oh, sorry, Mr. Speaker, I'm so sorry.
Second, yeah.
I seem to be running at speed to have this thing over, sir. Mr. Speaker, with due respect, I second the bill ably moved by Chairman Appropriation. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Are those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Acting Leader, please move that the House resolve to Committee of Supply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and my distinguished colleagues. I am Comrade Peter Ohiozoje Fantasy in MNI. I move that the House resolve to Committee of Supply to consider the report as presented. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gideon, please second.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Gideon Gwani. I come from Kaduna State, and I represent Kaura Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the acting leader. I say second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. The House is hereby resolved into Committee of Supply. Okay. Honorable colleagues, thanks for your patience. I'll call on Honorable Betera to give us a synopsis of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Mukhtar Betra Aliu, member representing Biubayo Sarshani, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, it will be recalled that the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, GFD, CFR, led before the joint sitting of the National Assembly the 2020 Appropriation Bill on the 8th of October 2019. The bill contained the budget estimate of the federal government of Nigeria in the revenue expenditure for the 2020 fiscal year, in line with Section 8, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The House debated the general principles of the bill on the 9th and Thursday, 10th of October 2019. Read it the second time, consequently referred it to the Committee on Appropriations for further legislative actions. The committee subsequently referred the schedules of the bill to the Appropriations Subcommittees in line with Order 12, Rule 19, subsection 5A of the Standing Order of the House of Representatives on money bills. Consequently, the committee drew up a work plan contained the guidelines and timelines Wednesday, 30th October to Tuesday, 5th of November 2019 to guide the subcommittees in processing the bill and time within which to submit and defend their reports before it. In addition, the Committee on Appropriations on both chambers on Wednesday, 23rd and 24th of October 2019 conducted a two-day public hearing on the national budget and received inputs from general public, particularly the civil societies, organizations, ministries, departments, agencies, and MDS, and governmental partners. The highlights of the 2020 budget worked on are as follows. Aggregate expenditure, 10 trillion, 594 billion, 362 million, 364,830 naira only, which statutory transfers, 560 billion, 460 million, 870,235 naira only. Recurrent and non-debt expenditure, 4 trillion, 842 billion, 964 million, 600,640 naira only. The revenue projection for the 2020 budget, honorable members may wish to note that basis for these preparations of details of the 2020 was 2020 to 2022 MTF and FSP as approved by the National Assembly. The summary of the key assumptions, parameters upon the 2020 budget is based on shown below. The crude oil production for the executive proposal is 2.18 million barrels per day. The benchmark is $55. The GDP growth is 2.93%. Inflation rate is 10.81%, and the exchange rate is 305 to a dollar. It is important to note that the 2020 appropriation bill, the National Assembly worked in collaboration with the executive on the additional revenue projection with the utilization with the additional revenue critical projects which could not be accommodated in the budget proposal submitted by Mr. President due to funding constraints have now been included in this budget.
Consequently, increases has been accommodated to permit intervention in critical areas such as security, roads, works and housing, health, mines, steel development, etc. Here, consideration has been given to addressing desired developmental needs of the country, which is also in line with the budget thoughts of the government, focused on growing developmental growth within the sustainable growth. Recommendation: having given due consideration to the preparations of the budget, and having also worked with our counterpart in the Senate committee, hereby recommends that the House do consider the 2020 appropriation bill. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, on behalf of the committee, I wish to thank the honorable Speaker and the leadership of the House for the support given to the committee in course of our work. And I also wish to thank the standing subcommittees of this House and members of our Appropriation Committee with the Finance Committee for their cooperation, especially in ensuring timely presentation of the 2020 budget, which rhymes with the determination of the government to revert to January to December 31st of every cycle. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Appropriation. Before we go into the clause-by-clause consideration, Honorable Gary, you have an amendment or something? Let's take it now, rather than wait till we get there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Gary Dumainwo, representing Afipo North, Afipo South Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, like I said, it's my intention, after we consulted with our counterparts at the Senate, to propose just two very, very harmless amendments. The amendments refer to, if you have this document, page 417, refers to clause 6 on authorization. 6.1 reads, no funds shall be paid out of the monies arising from the records specified in section 4, except by an act, approval of the National Assembly. Instead of section 4, Mr. Speaker, we propose that it should read section 5. That's the amendment for clause 6.1. Mr. Speaker, the second one refers to clause 11, page 418 of this document, under commencement, which reads, in line with the provisions of section 318 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, this bill will run for a course of 12 months starting from the date it is assented into law. Mr. Speaker, we propose that it should read, the bill will run for a course of 12 months starting from the 1st of January 2020 to the 31st of December 2020. Those are my amendments. I so move. The second one, Mr. Speaker, that it should read, in line with the provisions of section 318 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, this bill will run for a course of 12 months starting from, it should now read, the 1st of January 2020 to the 31st of December 2021. 2020, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is to bring it in line with the true definition of a financial year as described under section 318 of the Constitution. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Kiruka Onyejocha. I represent the good people of Isukwatu Munoji Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the amendment as moved by the Deputy Chair Appropriation. I so second.
Those against the Senate, ayes have it. We go to the bill itself. I believe everybody has a copy. If you don't have, please, can you give Honorable Tajuddin? Please give Honorable Tajuddin the order paper for today. So we start with the schedule, Part A, that deals with statutory transfers. The whole part. I like that. The National Judicial Council, 110 billion. Niger Delta Development Commission, 80 billion. Universal Basic Education, 111 billion. National Assembly, 128 billion. Public Complaints Commission, 4 billion. 4.7, we are approximating, but 4.7, yes. Independent National Electoral Commission, 40 billion. National Human Rights Commission, 38.1. Northeast Development Commission, 2.5, National Human Rights Commission. Northeast Development Commission, 38,101,783,432. Basic Health Care Fund, 44,498,247,834. So we have a total there of 560,470,827,235. Debt service. Domestic debts, 1,732,718,670. Foreign debts, 719,880,260. The total will be 2,452,598,930 carried. The sinking fund to retire maturing loans, 272,900,000,000. Total 2,725,498,930. Part C, we go to the recurrent non-debt expenditure. The presidency 46,562,367. Ministry of Defense 784,589,343. Foreign Affairs 67,813,702. Ministry of Information and Culture 44,731,841,597. Ministry of Interior 219,457,740,793. Office of the Head of the Civil Service 6,346,098,741. Auditor General of the Federation 3,975,427,252. Ministry of Police Affairs 394,572,275,767. Communications Technology 12,765,138,159. The National Security Advisor 116,907,758,883. Infrastructure Concessionary Regulatory Commission 1,122,619,114. Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation 59,596,945,231. Special Duties 2,931,767,178. Agriculture and Rural Development 58,686,551,003. Finance, Budget and National Planning 20,450,516,039. Industry, Trade and Investment 15,276,499,559. Ministry of Labor 11,422,155,751. Science and Tech 42,759,981,586. Ministry of Transport 12,618,112,990. Aviation 6,923,080,532. Is Magaji here? Dow. Ministry of Power, 5,825,808,404. Petroleum Resources, 75,959,587,057. Mines and Steel, 10,906,604,610. Works and Housing, 27,983,371,592. National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, 820,439,931. Fiscal Responsibility Commission, 332,001,3751. Ministry of Water Resources, 8,875,958,206. Justice, 25,207,924,799. ICPC, 7,155,895,141. Niger Delta, 2,020,135,886. Number 44, Ministry of Youth and Sports, 168,331,040,938. Ministry of Women Affairs, 1,530,934,792. Education, 490,303,716,050. Health, 336,597,463,881. Ministry of Environment, 18,367,382,771. Population Commission, 6,272,635,692. Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, 4,088,170,792. We have a total there of 3,120,088,999,239. Number 51, Code of Conduct Bureau, 2,312,825,734. Code of Conduct Tribunal, 737,003,74149. Federal Character Commission, 2,763,328,707. Federal Civil Service Commission, 1,153,225,532. Police Service Commission, 788,816,160. Revenue Mobilization and Allocation and Fiscal Commission, 2,230,244,022. Government-owned enterprises, 364,948,261,384. Pension, gratuities, and retirees' benefits. Total allocation 536,717,450,127. Office of the Head of Civil Service Civilian Pension, 48,897,287,441. Gratuities 2,300,000,000. Pensions 46,467,287,441. Pension running costs 130 million. Military pensions and gratuities 217,593,565,984. Pensions 126,492,195. Expected retirees 17,917,600,447. Death benefits 23,191,554,357. Administrative charges running costs 150 million. Medical retirees 1,259,074,576. Arrears of 2017 to 2018 pension 43,806,92,518. Arrears of 2017 to 2018 gratuity 4,782,448,463. Military retirees 10,478,762. NHIS military retirees arrears 2014 to 2018 5,953,077,216. Military retirees NHIS including arrears 4,524,923,546. DIA civilian staff pension and gratuities 400,255,916. Pension 2018 arrears 30,267,023. Pension 66,089,619. Gratuity 2018 arrears 3,597,633. Gratuity 217,301,641. Admin charges 30 million. We move to police gratuities, pensions and gratuities 7408. Pensions 7,308,000,000. Running costs for pension 100 million. Customs integration and pensions office 8311000. Of which we have number 78 pensions 8211 8,211,000,000. Running costs 100 million. Move on to universities pensions, including arrears, which totals 13,625,524,126. Of which pensions, same figure, yes, 13,629,524,126. Running parastatals pensions and railway pensions. Number 81, pensions 26,756,754,031. Department of State Security, pensions including arrears 9,007,377,311. Gratuity 3,886,521,784. Death benefits 266,259,623. Nigeria Intelligence Agency, pensions, dependent benefits 426,551,8,550. Running costs 100 million. NEMCO pension arrears 16,879,348,775. Other pensions 168 with totals 168,838,035,824. Number 90, arrears of pension liabilities 23,875,609,666. Arrears of 33%, increase in pension rates 17,161,129,529. Payment into redemption fund 89,548,062,654. Pensions protection fund 10 billion. Benefits of retired heads of service and permanent secretaries and professors 4,502,491,809. Severance benefits to retired heads of government agencies and parastatals 1 billion. Entitlements of former presidents, heads of states, and vice presidents, chief of general staff 23,000,000. Payment of outstanding terminal benefits of Nigeria Airways ex-workers 16,566,789,166. Arrears for vehicles for retired and discharged personnel 2017, 2018, 2019 3,883,955. It's a lot of work. Number 99. Payment of outstanding benefit to civil servants, 5 billion. Assets of corpers, admin workers, 15 billion. Benefits and minimum wage related adjustments, 200 billion. Armed forces, 75 billion. Settlement of MDS electricity bills, 4 billion. IPPIS capturing, 1 billion. Payment of outsourced services, 3 billion. Management for increases in costs and recurrent adjustment, 3 billion. Presidential amnesty program, 65 billion. Evaluation of all projects nationwide, 2 billion. Special intervention program recurrent, 350 billion. Contingency recurrent, 15 billion. International sporting competitions, 5 billion. TSA operation, 2 billion. Employee Compensation Act, 3 billion. Contributions to international organizations, 20 billion. Gavi immunizations, 22 billion 734 412 588. Additional support for universities, 20 billion. Take-off grant for the establishment of the NIA pension board, 500 million. CRF charges, 1,347,951,862,713. Total, 4,842,974,600,640. Capital expenditure, Presidency, 19,031,057,925. Defense, 116,181,290,730. Foreign Affairs, 7,608,141,474. Information and Culture, 34,035,824,302. I'm sorry, 7 billion, Information and Culture, 7,555,803,233. Interior, 34,035,824,302. Head of Service, 1,722,796,040. Auditor General for the Federation, 153,071,048. Ministry of Police Affairs, 15,959,986,864. Communication Technology, 5,919,002,554. Office of the National Security Advisor, 27,418,469,323. ICRC, 232,351,688. Office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, 25,188,940,930. Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, 2,158,627,395. Ministry of Agric and Rural Development, 124,395,096,917. Ministry of Finance, Budget and Planning, 4,976,199,925. Minister of Industry and Trade and Commerce, Trade and Investment, 38,583,331,761. Labor and Employment, 24,445,756,678. Science and Technology, 62,882,531,566. Transport, 121,366,932,571. Aviation, 52,061,533,122. Ministry of Power, 129,082,599,363. Petroleum Resources, 3,337,444,887. Mines and Steel Development, 10,431,563,177. Works and housing, 315,563,564,269. National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, 127,609,002. Fiscal Responsibility Commission, 170,652,203. Water Resources, 91,679,907,927,042. Justice, 3,853,600,220. ICPC, 36,066,404. 363 million, I'm sorry, 066,404. FCT administration, 62 billion 407,154,360. Niger Delta Affairs, 23 billion 120,350,399. Youth and Sports Development, 3 billion 735,486,210. Ministry of Women Affairs, 6 billion 650,300,966. Education, 84 billion 728,529,572. Ministry of Health, 59 billion 909,430,837. Environment, 12 billion 350,140,731. Population Commission, 2 billion 032,717,266. Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, 61 billion 085 146,003. Total 1,562,505,921,958. Code of Conduct. Code of Conduct Bureau, 308,459,492. Code of Conduct Tribunal, 228,004,538. Federal Character Commission, 231,824,074. Civil Service Commission, 123,837,786. Police Service Commission, 580,775,15. Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, 123,895,011. Total is 1,596,791,418. Government-owned enterprises, multilateral, bilateral loan-funded projects, 328,128,150,000 naira. We move on to capital supplementation. Federal Government Special Intervention Program capital, 30 billion, which is counterpart for it. Global Fund, 5,500,000,000. 5,500,000,000. Payment of local contractors' debts and other liabilities, 15 billion. Galaxy Backbone, 4 billion. GIFMIS IPPIS capital, 5 billion. OSSAP Special Project, 6 billion. Social Safety Net, 16 billion. Conditional grants to states, 10 billion. Payment of ongoing projects, 8 billion. SDG Project 1, 7 billion 970. Recapitalization of development finance institution, 15 billion. Zonal intervention projects, head of service. Zonal intervention projects, head of service. Zonal intervention projects, 100. Heads of service, federal government staff house loaning board, 2,500,000,000. Subscription to shares in international organizations, 15 billion. National development plans, Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, 1,500,000,000. Capital exigencies, adjustment in capital cost 7,196, contingency capital 10 billion, grants and donor-funded projects 36,392,600, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council 500 million, grants to BOI to support low-interest lending to SMEs 10 billion, reform for the acquisition of Yola Disco 26,901,762, Special Intervention Fund 20 billion, Constitutional Review 1 billion, CPA 500 million, FGN intervention in Zamfara, Katsina, and Borno 1.5 billion. Falcon Eye project of the National Security Advisor 25 billion. Construction of the National Assembly Library 2 billion. Judgments 2.5 billion. Total capital supplementation 384,960, 362,500. Total capital expenditure 2,465,418,006,955. Aggregate expenditure 10,594,362,364,830. Well. Okay, we're going to go to the clauses that form part of the bill. Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3, environment, corrigendum, Clause 4, Clause 5 as amended. No, it was Clause 6. Okay, Clause 5. Clause 6 as amended. Clause 7. Clause 8. Clause 9. Clause 10. 11 as amended. Clause 12. The short title, Clause 13. All the schedules carried. And we go to explanatory memorandum. Carried. Long title. Thank you. Appropriation bill passed. I know. We're happy now.
Mr. Speaker and my distinguished colleagues, I am Comrade Peter of Nyozeja Pantasi. I represent Akoko, the federal constituency. I move that the Committee of Supplies reverts to plenary to report progress. I so move.
Honorable Gideon.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Gideon Gwani. I come from Kaduna State. I represent Kaura Federal Constituency. Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the ATI leader.
Those in support that will revert to plenary, please say aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Honorable Benson. Honorable colleagues, the House and the Committee of Supply considered the report of the Committee on Appropriations on a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 10,594,364,830 naira only, of which 560,470,827,235 naira only is for statutory transfers. 2,725,498,930,000 naira only is for debt service. 4,842,974,600,640 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 2,465,418,600,950 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year on ending 31st day of December 2010. Honorable colleagues, we approved clauses 1 to 5, approved clause 6 as amended, and approved clauses 7 to 10. The House also approved clause 11 as amended, approved clauses 12 to 13. We approved the schedules, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Can you move for adoption?
Mr. Speaker and my dear colleagues, I'm Comrade Peter of North Nigeria Party, representing Akuka Edo Federal Constituency. I move for the
The whip, can you whip, Chief Whip? Chief Whip.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the motion for the adoption of the report of the Committee of Supply.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Akwata, say, can you move that we do the third reading?
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be read for the third time as soon.
You have to read the whole thing.
Honorable Speaker, once again I move that I am Comrade Peter of Nigeria Party. I represent Akuka Edo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I move that a bill for an act to authorize the issue of from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 10 trillion 594 billion 362,364 naira 380. Yeah. Only, of which 560 475 470 827 235 235 is for statutory transfer. Why 2 trillion 25 billion 498 million 930,000 naira only is for debt service. 4 trillion 42 billion 974 million 600,640 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 2 trillion 465 billion 418 million 6,955 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending on 31st day of December 2020. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Jobe, can you second, please?
Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Tijana Abdulkadir Jobe, representing Dawakin Tofa, Rimangada Tofa. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kano State. I do second the motion as ably moved by the leader of the House.
Thank you. Those in support that we read this for service of third reading, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk, please read the third reading.
Honest Honorable members, a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 10 trillion 594 billion 362 million 364,830 naira only, of which 560 billion 470 million 827,235 naira only before statutory transfer 2 trillion 725 billion 498 million 930,000 naira only for debt service 4 trillion 842 billion 904 million 6,000 naira 740 naira only for recurring non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 2 trillion 465 billion 418 million 6,955 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending on 34th day of December 2020. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Honorable colleagues, it looks like we're going to be suspending sitting for now because members have to, chairmen have to go to Lagos for the retreat that is going on today, tomorrow, and Saturday. But before we do that, we'll go straight to one more item, and that is because of its importance, we'll go to the second order of the day. Second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to strengthen the principles of separation of powers and guarantee the independence of different arms of government, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 3rd July 2019. Honorable members, I invite the Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business to move that the House do suspend Order 7 Rule 1 to enable either the Deputy Speaker, I believe, or the Chairman, Business and Rules to take to Deputy Speaker, sorry, no. Sorry, gentlemen, we're suspending the rules for another purpose, to allow the Chairman, Business and Rules to take this this bill on my behalf.
And go ahead without suspending the rules.
You can go ahead without suspending the rules, yeah? Oh, you're a co-sponsor. Oh, yes, of course, you are a co-sponsor. That is very true. So, I invite Honorable Fulata to be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krika Sama, Buri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended to strengthen the principles of separation of powers and guarantee the independence of different arms of government and for related matters, HB 440. I so move.
I would hear.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I am Chinyere Igwe. I represent Port Harcourt Federal Constituency of Lagos State. I second motion as ably moved by the acting chairman, Business and Rules. So move.
Honorable colleagues, ordinarily, because this is my bill, under the principle of Nemo Dat Judas in Cosa Sua, which means you cannot preside over your own matter, ordinarily I would excuse, but I believe I can promise you I will not say a word. So if the members are okay with that, we'll just continue, quickly go over this. Otherwise, if the members do I have the leave of the House to preside? The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, the principles of separation of powers are well articulated and enshrined in Section 4, 5, and 6 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, a situation where one of the arms of the government tries to portray itself as superior to other arms of government and starts interfering in the functions of other arms does not all go well for our democracy. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, recently there are court judgments that interfered with the functions of not only the National Assembly, but also state assemblies. You can recall when a high court in Port Harcourt stopped the National Assembly from exercising its constitutional powers over the situation in Edo State. The same thing also happened in Kogi State when the State Assembly tried to investigate the State Chief Judge for corruption. Same also goes for Lagos. Same also goes for what happened in Bauchi State. These are two incidents are too many. Mr. Speaker, if this situation is allowed to continue, our democracy will be in jeopardy. It is to that extent that this bill seeks to amend essentially Section 4, Subsection 8 of the Constitution and replace it with a new section to read as follows: save as otherwise provided by this Constitution, the excess of legislative powers by the National Assembly should be subject to judicial review by courts of law and judicial tribunals established by law. And also amend Section 6 of this Constitution and a new section to read, shall not stop, notwithstanding anything to go to the contrary in this Constitution, by other arm of government from performing its function. So, honorable colleagues, this is a very straightforward amendment to provide for the independence of the three arms of government and to forestall a situation whereby the judicial arm of government will stop either the executive, but especially the legislature, from performing its functions as enshrined by the Constitution. Honorable colleagues, let me crave your indulgence to quote from the rulings, unanimous rulings of the Supreme Court, 2 rulings. For example, in the case of Ugwa versus Suswan, the Supreme Court held that the Constitution sets up a federal system by dividing powers between the federal and state governments. It establishes a national government divided into 3 independent branches. The legislative branch makes the law, while the judiciary explains the law. There is no document superior to the Constitution in democratic governance. It is the heart and soul of the people, unquote. And then again, in the case of government of Lagos versus Ojukwu, the Supreme Court held that under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1979, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary are equal partners in the running of a successful government. The powers granted by the Constitution to these organs by Section 4, legislative powers, Section 5, executive powers, Section 6, judicial powers, are classified under an omnibus umbrella known under Part 2 to the Constitution as powers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The organs wield those powers, and one must never exist in sabotage of the other, or else there is chaos. Indeed, there will be no federal government. I think for one organ, and more especially the executive, which holds all the physical powers, to put itself in sabotage or deliberate contempt of others is to stage an executive subversion of the Constitution it is to uphold, unquote. The train is tilting towards the subversion of the legislature. Thank you very much, Honorable Felix.
Chief Whip.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marke Monguno, Nganza Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this bill is very apt having regard to our democratic experience now, especially against the backdrop of the fact that some other arms of government have started encroaching into fields that the Constitution does not give them jurisdiction to interfere. And Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the Constitution is an organic document that is supposed to change with the changing times so that it will be in tandem with the objective and subjective realities of the time. And essentially, that is what this bill seeks to achieve. The framers of the Constitution decided to adopt the presidential system of government that presupposes separation of powers between the legislature, executive, and judiciary is to avoid a situation of concentration of power in the hands of one arm of government, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And once there is concentration of power in the hands of one arm of government, it breeds tyranny, it breeds dictatorship, which is an anathema to our democratic experience. That is the intention of the framers of our Constitution for adoption of the presidential system of government, in order to have inherent checks and balances between the various organs of government, so that there will be no concentration of power in the one arm of government and breeds tyranny in the long run. So the incursion into particularly the powers of the legislature is something that should be upheld, because the legislature is the repository of the representative will of the people. And therefore, whatever the legislature decides is deemed to be a reflection of the wishes and aspirations of the people that gave us the sacred mandate to represent them. And therefore, it should be respected. The only thing is that Section 5 that gives the, Section 6 that gives the judiciary the power to interpret is that they can come in at the end of the day to interpret whether the laws that were made
is in tandem with the Constitution, which is the grand norm of the land, or any other relevant law. But the judiciary does not have power to stop the legislature from discharging the functions that is given to it by the Constitution. So this bill is very apt, having regard to our present experience, and I urge my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and dear colleagues. My name is Darlington Nwokocha. I speak Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South Federal Constituency, and from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity, and I thank God that this bill is coming at this moment, that we are just passing this budget. So we take up from January and from the moment from a very clean slate. Mr. Speaker, there have been a whole lot of interference considering the legislature and other arms. But it's very simple and straight, because issues that borders around the operations of each of the arms is defined, quite defined by the Constitution, and the check and balances, the principle of check and balances is quite clear as well. Mr. Speaker, I know that this particular bill is trying to cure and to see how we can allow a full cycle in operation of each of the arms in their operation. For instance, that of the legislature. When there's a motion here, there's a process we must pass through and get to the end. That of the judiciary, if they have an issue in the court, they have a process they will take, the first hearing, from their appeal to Supreme Court. We don't interfere. We don't stop them. We allow them to have a full cycle till the end. But when it comes to the legislature, you will see them stepping in, interpreting it in a way that is out of context. But this is a law that is being made by this House, that at the end of the day we are supposed to defend the laws we make, not interpretation. Then, at the end of the day, they will now give a different context of whatever position that this law is trying to interpret. But at the same time, we don't even disturb them. Mr. Speaker, I'm fully in support of this bill because it will define at every point in time how our area of operation is quite protected, so allowing us to have a full cycle of our operation. That is just the position. Therefore, the abuse at times by even the executive, delegated legislation, they will run beyond the level of what is supposed to be when there is a limit where they should stop. Mr. Speaker, I'm fully in support of this bill, and I will support and say, let my colleagues support that we define this role so that they know their limit and they will know at what point they can interfere in whatever thing we do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Sada.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Sada Soli Jibia, representing Jibia Kaita Federal Constituency. I'm from Katsina State. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important amendment to our Constitution. Since we are talking on the general principles of this, Mr. Speaker, to my understanding, this amendment is geared towards strengthening the principles of separation of power. So it will benefit all the arms, not necessarily the legislature, which is the burden, which is actually even we are always at the receiving end. Not, this time around, it's not only the legislature, it will guarantee the principles of separation of power for the three arms. Why this? The way the interference between the three arms. One, there is lack of education can cause it, and the hawks And the people in the corridors of power also are cause of this. So I believe this move, by amending that, it will generate more education, more enlightenment to people that are within the system who have little understanding of the principles of separation of power as guaranteed, as enshrined in our Constitution. Mr. Speaker, this amendment will not only guarantee separation of power, but it will generate more strength. It will empower, it will provide more platform that will guarantee the sustenance of our democracy. This amendment, Mr. Speaker, it will promote understanding and discipline on the way, on how we do our things, how the judiciary will do their things, how the executive will do their things, and how the legislature will do their things. So I think it is a good move. I will appeal to my fellow members to support this amendment so that we will strengthen our democracy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so that we just move fast, we'll put the question. We'll put the question. Honorable colleagues, the bill is very straightforward. I think I presented this bill basically to protect this institution. To protect this institution and to protect every other arm of government. Because what we have seen in the past is that you try to stop or attempt to stop the National Assembly from doing what is stated clearly in its mandate to do. This doesn't happen anywhere in the world. It's like the National Assembly stopping the president from presenting a budget, or the National Assembly stopping the judiciary from giving a judgment. You cannot arrest a judgment. And so that's what this is about. We have situations where people run to court to get injunctions. It happened in Edo State. We hadn't even taken over Edo State. We just made a resolution and we were waiting for the Senate to do the same, and then we got a court ruling stopping us for something that is explicitly stated in Section 11 of the Constitution. It's very unfortunate, but hopefully this bill will address that. I know courts, there's something called ouster clauses in legislation, where legislature seeks to oust the jurisdiction of a court from looking into a matter. Courts often frown at that. If there's an ouster clause in a contract, courts frown at it. It will never stand, because you cannot stop a court from exercising its constitutional authority. So by doing this, you are tying the hands of the legislature from performing its functions, and we cannot sit here and allow that to happen. So that was my own little contribution. Honorable Toby can continue. Although I said I wouldn't say anything, but yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues. That was why my name is Toby Okechukwu. I represent an area of Gwoji River Federal Constituency from Enugu State. Well, Mr. Speaker's contribution was the reason why we said he should not preside over this debate, because somebody of interest is interfering with our... So, Mr. Speaker, this bill, which is aimed at altering the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended to strengthen the principle of separation of powers and guaranteed independence of the different arms of government, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this amendment is a further reinforcement of the need for us to have a more perfect union. And in having a perfect union, you need to have checks and balances. And those checks and balances can only come within the confines and within the ambit of separation of powers. And where any provision or any segment of the government, whether it is the legislature, the judiciary, or the executive, aims at ambushing any of the arms of government, we can't say there is separation of powers. Where there is any kind of act that stops any part or any arm of government from functioning effectively, it means Nigerian people will suffer based on the fact that what the Constitution anticipates is being ambushed. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I think this bill is auspicious. It's important because I've seen in several instances where this legislature is not allowed to do its function. It's not, even when there are clear provisions of the Constitution, you see some level of ambush. And it is unimaginable that at any point in time, you will ask the judiciary not to act where it has clear powers to do so. In matters of adjudication, the judiciary has to do its job. And it is anticipated by the Constitution and by practice. As a matter of fact, like you rightly pointed out, where a contract or any act or any understanding or memo ousts the jurisdiction of the courts, it is usually ruled in the favor of the courts, because there is no way you can oust the jurisdiction of courts. It is not possible. Any situation where you have that obtains, you find that is either you have a monarchy or a dictatorship. And our Constitution has not anticipated that. So it is very clear that all processes of parliament, where it follows our rules, must come to an end for it to be subject to interrogation by the courts. You cannot make any laws here unless it is a decree. And we are not known to make decrees. It belongs to situations where there is an intervention or a kind of sabotage of the Constitution by taking over government. That is where you have decrees. In the present circumstance, we have a democracy. And we will not think and we will not allow a situation where the processes in parliament or even the processes in the judiciary or even in the executive is arbitrarily interfered with. And where Constitution provides, look, that you can take over the legislative powers of House of Assembly in a situation where it is seen not to be functioning, it is clear. To use the courts as for some kind of estoppel on the legislature, I don't think it is anticipated. And we should not encourage it. So I believe that this bill comes within the range of reinforcing our democracy. It comes within the range of ensuring that we continue to inch towards a more perfect union. By interrogating this at public hearing, we will be opportune and have sufficient exposure from intellectuals and members of the public on what the benefits of this bill will be. So I call on my colleagues to please support this bill so that we can as a nation, get to our aspiration. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll put the question. Well, before we put the question, just to clarify and to be clear, so that we are not misreporting. You're even on the wrong seat. I didn't even know it was you. Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Musa Sirkin Adar. I represent Gadagoro Imperial Constituency and from the state. I have to come here because I am agitated to give my contribution to this very brilliant amendment to Nigerian Constitution. I am in total support of this amendment. However, I have some concerns that I will share with all of you here so that in our future legislative actions, we can address such concerns. Quite well, separation of powers have suffered in this country. As of today, judiciary become like the grade A arms of government against the legislature and executive because it determines decision over our resolutions and over actions taken by the executive side. As of today, there are records, instances where the judiciary usurped or interfere into our powers. Part of that is they are even against themselves. Of recent, before the 2019 general elections, some of us were taken to the court for the pre-election matters, and the Supreme Court ruled in favor of some of us. But unfortunately, a clear case of one of our colleagues from Kaduna State was removed by the Court of Appeal. He was produced by the decision of the Supreme Court. He was removed by the decision of Court of Appeal. You can see how they contravene their own decisions. So we should not be disturbed, we should not be surprised of what they do to our own actions, our own solutions. But having said this, what I'm trying to say is we should go beyond this alteration. We should come up with a situation whereby if they infer into our rights and powers, what do we do? Because they are the final destination for now. All cases taken are taken after our decision or after our resolution, it goes to them, and they appear to be final. And that's the advantage they are having. So we should look in future, we should look inward, what do we do when they infer into our powers? Do we just hold our arms? The answer should be no. Because for now, they have so much privileges over us, having been the last bottom. The boss off at their own end. So we should look into that. Otherwise, we'll continue to have this kind of thing, even if we pass it here. I'm not pessimistic, but I know by the way they are deciding our cases. Even in the normal cases, just recently, I know in 2010, the Electoral Act as amended then did not allow anybody to be removed from elective position, provided it is not on the difference of the votes. Nobody should be ruled on technicalities. And the Supreme Court has ruled on that. But of recent, some of our colleagues have lost their seats. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I support this bill, and I hope we should look inward to come up with more power that can definitely stop the judiciary from interfering in our own powers and the powers of the executive as well. We have never interfered, we have never encouraged into their own. They should not encourage in our own. Let everyone maintain his own lane so that democracy will move at the same pace and at the same far, and at the end of the day, we'll have the democracy that we so much desire to have in this country. I appreciate your brilliance, I appreciate your patriotism, and I appreciate your leadership and concern for this nation. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Sekiada. Honorable Kiruka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Kiruka Onyejocha. I represent the good people of Isukwatu Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, a lot have been said about this bill. My own is just to do some clarification. What this bill seeks to achieve is to strengthen the independence of the three arms of government. We are involved, executive is involved, then judiciary also they are involved. It's not seeking anything ordinary. It's just that drafters of constitution, they are wise enough to say, this arm of government shall do X, Y, Z. This one shall do X, Y, Z. This arm shall do X, Y, Z. So what it seeks to achieve is that so that every arm of government will be strengthened to do its functions without interference of any kind from one arm to the other. And having said this, Mr. Speaker, I also know that it is an constitutional alteration bill, which means that it's going to be referred to the Constitution Committee, where it will be deliberated on. So they will take the pros and cons. So I plead that the honorable colleagues should show understanding so that at least we allow it to go to the relevant committee where we take it holistically. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nkiruka. I just wanted to make a last comment so that we're not misinterpreted or misreported. This House is not seeking or saying that the courts cannot have jurisdiction over the House. No, not at all. What we're saying is that under the doctrine of separation of powers, let each arm do what its constitutional mandated to do. What we're saying is that you cannot look into the functions of the House until it performs its function, not before. There's something called the doctrine of ripeness. If the case is not ripe for adjudication, you cannot anticipate and stop the House from going ahead with its function. Now, after the House has come to or passed a law, for instance, if we pass this law now, the courts can now come and say, no, in interpreting the Constitution or interpreting, you cannot do this. Now, that's a totally different thing. And I use the Edo case as a locus classicus. You cannot. The House, the steps that are supposed to be, the National Assembly, as in the House and the Senate, can take over the functions of the state legislature if it can no longer carry on its activities. Now, it was one arm that did it, and they went to court, and the court said, you cannot do that. The doctrine was not ready for adjudication yet because the Senate was just about to do the same thing, but they preempted the Senate. So it's a very, very delicate balance, but it's also very, very important for democracy to thrive, that there's no incursion in the powers of one. Like I said, I gave an example. We cannot stop the courts from, or we cannot arrest if we hear that, oh, the court is going to give a judgment on something in 2 weeks' time. We cannot pass a law and say, stop, you cannot give this judgment. We can't do that. Neither can we stop the executive from presenting a budget because they're constitutionally empowered to do so. And that's all we're saying. Separate but equal arms of government. Honorable Gary.
Mr. Speaker, I think we have substantially covered the field on the argument. But I just wanted to draw our attention to the fact that often we want to know the intendment of those who made our Constitution. As it concerns separation of powers, I think I would like to refer us to what Belgore JSC stated in this very important case law, the case of Attorney General Abia State against Attorney General of the Federation. It's a 2003 case. And I think Belgore was at his best when he said, on separation of powers, each arm is separate, equal, and of coordinate department. And no arm can constitutionally take over the functions of the other. No arm can constitutionally take over the functions of the other. I think it is at the core of our constitutional democracy. The moment this arm can intrude in the affairs of the other, it's a call to anarchy. And I think that does not bode well for our democracy. So I think our our laws are expected to reflect or to be in tandem with this law. And that is why I decided I should refer to this case law. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gary. I'll put the question. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended to strengthen the principle of separation of powers and guarantee the independence of different arms of government and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Constitutional Review when constituted. Honorable colleagues, we'll just take this very important third reading quickly. The third reading of a bill for an act to amend the Companies Income Tax Act, Value Added Tax Act, Customs and Excise Tariff, etc. Consolidation Act, Personal Income Tax Act, Capital Gains Tax Act, Stamp Duties Act, and Petroleum Profit Tax Act to provide for the review of tax provisions and make them more responsive to tax reforms and for related matters 2019. Honorable members will recall that the House and the Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 28 July 2019, considered and adopted the report on the bill. I now invite the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read the third time.
Mr. Speaker and my distinguished colleagues, I move that a bill for an act to amend the Companies Income Tax Act, Value Added Tax Act, Customs and Excise Tariff, etc. Consolidation Act, Personnel Income Tax Act, Capital Gains Tax Act, Stamp Duties Act, and Petroleum Profit Tax Act to provide for the review of tax provisions and make them more responsive to tax reform and for related matters 2019. HB 423 should be read for the third time. I so move.
Honorable Nkiruka, please. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Kiruka Onyejocha. I represent the good people of Iskwatu Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. I rise to second the third reading of the bill for an act to amend the Companies Income Tax Act, Value Added Tax Act, Customs and Tariff Act, etc. Consolidation Act, Personal Income Tax Act, Capital Gains Tax Act, Stamp Duties Act, and Petroleum Profit Tax Act to provide for the review of tax provisions and make them more responsive to tax reform and for related matters 2019 HB 423. I so second.
Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to amend the Companies Income Tax Act, Value Added Tax Act, Customs and Excise Tariff, etc., Consolidation Act, Personal Income Tax Act, Capital Gains Tax Act, Stamp Duties Act, and Petroleum Profit Tax Act to provide for the review of tax provisions and make them more responsive to tax reform and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read, third time and passed. Honorable colleagues, before we close, I think it will only be fair to take Honorable Tajuddin's bill. He's been diligent and he's been here from morning, so we'll just, but there will be no debate on it. We'll just, Honorable Osai, I saw you went and you came back. Honorable Tajuddin has been here from morning.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. My bill is for an act to establish the National Blood Service Commission to coordinate, regulate, and ensure the provision of quality blood and blood products and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Okay, any seconder, please. Honorable Paleke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is James Abiodun Faleke. I rise to second the bill as moved by my colleague. I so second.
Thank you. Moved by Tajuddin, seconded by Honorable Ilabe. Honorable Tajuddin.
Thank you, Honorable
10
Speaker.
seconds.
I will try to go through it with the speed of light. Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, the National Blood Transfusion Service should be an integral part of every national healthcare system. However, in Nigeria, blood banking and transfusion services have been fragmented, uncoordinated, and unregulated, and safety was not satisfactory despite earlier efforts at policy development and some level of implementation. Recent concerted efforts have produced the following results. 1, formal establishment of the National Blood Transfusion Service with six functional zonal centers located in Kaduna, Owerri, Jos, Maiduguri, Ibadan, Benin, and Abuja. 2, establishment of a demonstration blood center in Abuja would serve blood for Africa Foundation as technical partners. Number 3, inauguration of an advisory national technical committee. A baseline data survey was conducted during the last week of August 2015. The survey indicated evidence of divergent and unsatisfactory practice everywhere. The survey revealed that only 500,000 units of blood were collected from 1 million units of blood from private and public sources in the previous year. This is grossly inadequate for a country of about 180 million people. At our current level of healthcare delivery, it is estimated that about 1.5 million units of blood per annum is required. Furthermore, the survey revealed that in public sector, 25% and 75% respectively are commercial and replacement donors, while voluntary non-remunerated donors are negligible. In the private sector, the reverse obtains, with 75% and 25% respectively being commercial and replacement donors, while voluntary donors are insignificant. This is a very unsatisfactory situation which should not be allowed to continue. This evidence-based appraisal underscores the urgent need for a system that will address the issue of transfusion practice and blood safety in Nigeria. There is need to build on an earlier initiative by producing a revised national blood policy, which must be backed by appropriate legislation and regulation. The objective of this bill, honorable members, is to seek to provide an act to establish the National Blood Service Commission to coordinate, regulate, and ensure the provision of quality blood and blood products and for related matters. And the benefits to be derived are several, but I will just try to highlight some key ones. Number 1, high incidence of fatal motor accidents. According to Federal Road Safety Corps, the total number of fatality from road accident was 5,053 in 2016 and 5,049 in 2017. These fatalities were mostly occasioned due to loss of blood from injuries sustained by victims. One way to address these deaths is through provision of adequate safe blood units in a timely manner. The Commission, by regulation, will ensure that safe blood is available everywhere and whenever needed. Number two, high incidence of maternal mortality as a result of bleeding during pregnancy or childbirth. In 2015, a joint report from UNICEF, WHO, United Nations Population Agency, revealed that a total of 58,000 women died in Nigeria in that year alone from pregnancy-related issues or child delivery hemorrhage. In other words, about 159 women die in Nigeria every day. About 25 to 27% is attributable, 25% to 27% attributable factors to this death were postpartum hemorrhage. In contrast, in the same year, 2015, the total number of maternal deaths in 46 developed countries in the world was just under 1,700. These deaths in Nigeria can be avoided with a timely response and availability of safe blood. Number three, standardization of blood safety and quality. In terms of standardization of blood safety and quality, the applicable standard in Nigeria is the fourth generation ELISA, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. However, the World Health Organization, WHO, has prescribed a new standard which is operational in established climes. The enactment of this act will facilitate the adoption of this new standard or any other standard that may be prescribed by WHO in the future. The commission established by this act will create a platform where WHO, U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Safe Blood for Africa Foundation, and other international stakeholders will be interfacing in Nigeria. Again, the commission shall serve to educate the public on the essence and implication of donating blood. Due to ignorance, a lot of Nigerians are in the dark on the importance of blood donation and transfusion. Some are discouraged from accessing services because they believe that their blood will be used for ritual purposes. Others that are willing to donate blood do not know where to go. The implication of this is that the volume of blood that is available in our blood banks is a far cry from our potential, given our population. If this bill is passed, the Commission will be saddled with the responsibility of educating Nigerians about the importance and health implication of blood donation and transfusion. This will have a positive impact on public perception of blood donation and transfusion. Again, the need to eradicate the commercialization of blood transfusion and donation. Ideally, blood transfusion should be free, or the cost of assessment should be subsidized by government. This is the international best practice. However, due to acute shortage of blood for transfusion, both private and public actors in the sector have resulted in commercializing blood donation and transfusion at the detriment of both the donors and the recipients. This unethical practice will be eradicated if this bill is passed into law. Again, the need to expand the national outlet for blood transfusion and donation. The National Blood Transfusion Service is currently a unit under the Department of the Hospital Services, Federal Ministry of Health, which collects and screens blood before dispensing them to hospitals nationwide. This unit has presence in only 16 states and FCT, Abuja. The centers cumulatively collect an average of 500,000 pints of blood in a year, which is short of the 2 million pints required in a year in Nigeria. The situation is even more made worse because except for Lagos State, which has established its own blood transfusion service, no other state in Nigeria can boast of any functional transfusion service. With the passage of these bills, most stakeholders will be encouraged to invest in this sector or partner with the government. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, for time constraints, I cannot exhaust all the points. I just want to use this opportunity to thank members for their time and audience. And it is my wish that members will support this bill and eventually pass it into law. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I rest my case.
Question is that the bill be read a second time. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Sai, you only have 2 minutes. The sixth order of clerk, please read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish the National Blood Service Commission to coordinate, regulate, and ensure the provision of quality blood and blood products and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Healthcare Services. Fifth order of the day is commencement of the debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to ensure that the Appropriation Act starts on the first day of January of every year. And for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Osai, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on 16 July 2019, and now invite Honorable Osai to move that the bill read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Osai Nicholas Osai. I represent local Plenary Federal Constituency of Delta State. I move, Mr. Speaker, a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to ensure that an appropriation act starts on the first day of January of every year, and for related matter, HB 106 be read a second time. I so move.
Honorable Kruger.
Kiruka Onyejocha is my name. I represent Iskwatu Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. I rise to second the motion. Motion has moved by Honorable Nicholas Osai.
Question is that the bill is not read a second time. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Abdullah, you have a bill. Number clerk, go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to ensure that an appropriation act starts on the first day of January of every year and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill read a second time and referred to the Special Ad Hoc Committee on the Review of 1999 Constitution. Honorable Saidu Abdullah, are you ready for your bill?
Yeah.
Okay, the fourth order of the day is commencement of the debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish Federal College of Agriculture in Niger State for the purpose of providing full-time courses on agriculture, teaching, instructions, and training in sciences, social sciences, commerce, arts, applied sciences, management, and humanities, and carry out research, innovation, development, and adaptation of teaching techniques. And for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Saidu Musa Abdullahi, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, November 5th, 2019, and I invite Honorable Abdullahi to move that the bill be read a second time.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi, member representing the people of Bida Bako Kacha Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the bill for an act to establish Federal College of Agriculture, Kacha, Niger State, for the purpose of providing full-time courses of agricultural teaching, instruction and training in the sciences, social sciences, commerce, arts, applied sciences, management and humanities, and carry out research, innovation, development, and adaptation of teaching techniques and other related matters be read for the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Agusoye, can you second the... Please second Honorable Abdullahi. Honorable Agusoye, you are keeping the House waiting. That's not your seat.
Speaker, dear colleagues, my name is Prince Rotimi Aguswe, representing Kushope Federal Constituency of Lagos. I rise to second the motion that the bill should be read the second time. I so second.
Okay, Honorable Abdullah, this is straightforward. It's the establishment of a federal college, right? So we'll just put the question. The question is that the bill be read a second time. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, bill for an act to establish Federal College of Agriculture, Kacha, Niger State, for the purpose of providing full-time courses in agriculture, teaching, instructions and training in the sciences, social sciences, command, arts, applied sciences, management and humanities, and to carry out research, innovation, development, and adaptation of teaching techniques and related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Tertiary Education. Honorable Chairman, Business and Rules, can you move that we suspend our rules to allow us adopt today's votes and proceedings?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Abubakar Samfulata. I represent the newer Greek Asama Greek Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House to suspend relevant rules and adopt rules and approve the votes and proceedings of today. I so move.
Seconder, please. Honorable Mukhtar, please second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Mukhtar Zakar Chawai.
Okay, we have two Mukhtars. We have Mukhtar Chawai. Okay, I was talking about Mukhtar Ahmed from Kaduna. Yeah, okay. Since you have started, Honorable Mukhtar, next time you stay in your seat. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mukhtar Zakari Chawai, member representing Kauri Federal Constituency. I'm from Kaduna State, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion moved by Chairman House Business Rules. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk. What you moved was suspension, right? So you moved for suspension and adoption at the same time? Suspension is what you moved. Okay, just to be on the safe side, move now for the adoption. That's what he did. He has moved for the suspension of this. Now you move for the adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Abubakar Samfulata.
I represent Berniwa, Krika Sama, Gudi Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House to adopt today's let me take it again. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House to adopt the votes and procedures of today. I so move. Thank you.
Honorable Mukhtar Ahmed. Mukhtar.
My turn. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Mukhtar Ahmed. I represent Kaduna South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kaduna State. I rise to second the motion as moved by the chairman, House Committee on Business and Rules, that the motion, I second the motion, Mr. Chairman. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Votes and proceedings adopted. Honorable Fulata, move that we step down all other matters so we can adjourn the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Abubakar Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krika, Sama, Gudi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend consideration of the other items on the order of paper that were not considered and ship them to next week. I so move.
Honorable Bichi. Second, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Abubakar Bichi. I represent Bichi Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion raised by Honorable Plata. I so move.
Thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. All other legislative matters suspended. Acting Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, Comrade Peter Ohiozoje Patterson, MNI, I move that the House adjourn till 11 o'clock of Tuesday, the 10th of December, 2019. I so move.
Honorable Dozier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Fernando Dozier Wankwo. I represent the good people of Njikoka and Nocha, Njikoka Federal Constituency. I rise to support the motion heavily moved by the acting leader. I so support.
Those in support of the House adjourn till tomorrow 11 a.m. please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. House adjourn till 11 a.m.